Coming up on today's wrestling news, a Backstage Brawl erupts after AEW Dynamite.
An update on the Lucha brothers in WWE.
Jack Perry promo derailed by a hilarious gaffe.
And an update on Kota Ibushi's AEW status.
I'm Michael Amflet.
And I'm Phil Chambers.
And this is the news, and we start with a brawl backstage at AEW, Phil. It's huge, it's kayfabe, it's all right. But it's kind of goated anyway. Following Dynamite last night, which climaxed with the fantastic Bryan Danielson...
I bet you climaxed with that.
I certainly did. Jeff Jarrett match where Danielson was successful, and it led to Swerve Strickland coming out and saying, sorry, I'm going to end your career. There was a post-match promo that aired on X where Renee was interviewing Jeff Jarrett. He was surrounded by the Planet Jarrett guys, but obviously very much as the baby face. He'd just fallen short. Great war. Check it out if you haven't already. When he was decked by Hangman Page, who had appeared earlier in the show, looking increasingly annoyed that more and more people were putting themselves in his way between him and Swerve Strickland. He decks Jeff Jarrett, so obviously having attacked Jarrett, he then goes for Sanjay Dutt, he goes for Jay Lethal. There's all screaming and shouting and all this sort of stuff. And then while that brawl is going on, the brawl that started during Dynamite between Toni Storm and Mariah May appears to have continued over the duration of the 2 hours and also spills into the middle of it where you've got security trying to break up both at once. This news has done the rounds, and maybe we're grubbily aggregating it for the reason that people might think, what, another brawl in AEW? But maybe that's them playing up to that a little bit as well, where just, the locker room can't be contained and all that. It was a really great scene that I imagine will probably get some play on Collision and maybe on next week's Dynamite. Lends more credence to the speculation that it will be Hangman and Jarrett at Wembley.
All your dreams coming true.
Well, not quite, because my personal dream at this point is to throw both of them into the Casino Gauntlet, which was also added to the Wembley card last night via graphic, with the announcement also coming with the news that the winner of the Gauntlet will be the #1 contender to the World
So you just want Jarrett to win that instead?
I would accept him falling short to Hangman, but yeah, I always want him to win. I always want him to win. But yeah, my personal taste after this particular segment would be to hoy them in the Gauntlet and have them be in the big climax to that. It's that recent new addition that we've had on Dynamite where just wrestlers keep coming out and first pin wins.
Yeah.
I think Hangman finally getting to his title shot via that and adding more drama to, well, if Danielson wins, he yet again loses his Swerve match. Yeah, so... I think that's the move, and I cannot wait for that at Wembley too.
Yeah, absolutely. Wembley, the all-in card is shaping up to be very tasty this year. It's a hell of a card that they've put together for this one. I think it's the best AEW pure wrestling card in quite some time, and it's got the potential for at least pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, definitely. It feels very all the title fights feel huge and high stakes, and then this is such a more satisfying multi-man than the ones we got last year because you get loads of action, a good way to wedge in a bunch of stars that might not have a lot else going on, and I don't want to understate this. Entrance pops, just a chance to see not just your favourites, but your favourites coming out to their music, to their entrance, getting that little moment, a slice of something. That little moment
in Wembley as well. It's not just a...
on the big stage as part of the Taylor Swift layout and all that sort of stuff. Really smart booking for this specific show, I think. And the Brawl seemingly wants to, they want to build off what people always think about what goes in AEW, but potentially this sort of justifies Jarrett and Hangman's play. It could be the singles match, but I think it's going to justify their place in that.
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of maybe turmoil backstage in AEW, but this one's a bit real, I guess.
Yeah.
So we've got an update on the Lucha brothers. There's been a lot of rumblings about what's going on with them recently. So earlier this year, Bodyslam.net reported that Penta's AEW deal was up this year, and then Fightful Select followed up on that later, saying that Phoenix's was also up this year. But Fightful Select have come through with a bit more detailed report about what's actually going on with those two. So they have been told that Penta's deal is up first, and then Rey Fenix's deal will follow sometime around September, both of this year. AEW apparently wanted to re-sign them, but it kept getting delayed by both Penta and Phoenix themselves. And then over the past few weeks, apparently it has become evident backstage in AEW that they just weren't looking to re-sign, really. So Ibu of Wrestle Purists reported that they were expected to go to WWE, and Fightful have confirmed that as well. Or at least confirmed that there have been internal discussions within WWE that is a plan. They apparently want to be a package deal, just coming together, and they also don't want to go to NXT.
Right.
Which is an interesting thing. If you're just going to lay your cards on the table.
I was going to say, if you can, you might as well stipulate what you want.
Why the hell not? So sources close to them say that it wouldn't be surprising to see them in Orlando to prepare for it sooner rather than later. And then they kind of capped it off by saying that numerous sources close to them say that they have been pretty open in claiming that they have had talks with WWE already, and that a preliminary offer is already on the table, similar to what AEW was offering them. Which is very interesting. Obviously, Fightful Select reached out to WWE to see if they would comment on this, and they would not, obviously, because that would be contract tampering.
Yes,
we don't want to talk about that.
No.
But it seems like it's pretty set that the Lucha Brothers are going to be heading over to WWE and skipping NXT, which is interesting.
Yeah, we talked about the news that it looked like it was. I think it was initially linked to AEW sources backstage felt that this move was impending, and then that felt like that's created a domino effect where people have been able to come out with more and more things than well-sourced people in wrestling media and wrestling journalism, of which we are absolutely not part of that. Often gets criticised, but I think this is kind of a case of double, treble and quadruple sourcing. Multiple people coming forth with multiple versions of what is loosely the same story. And a lot of that you would assume has to come from the wrestlers themselves and what news they want to get out and what may or may not help with contracts, telephone, telegram, telewrestler, all that kind of stuff. And just to add yesterday to kind of what we said about Lucha Brothers potentially going to WWE, I didn't see, following the news that it was looking likely, too many people not thinking this was the right move for everybody involved. Jumps are cool. Two mainstream North American promotions allows for wrestlers to get fresh coats of paint and big bags of money from the billionaires that will pay them to do that. So from a wrestler and a fan and a company experience, this feels like one of them Michael Scott, Jim Dwight win-wins, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They're also one of those teams that they're so ingrained in sort of the indies and AEW and that kind of style that how that fits into WWE is like a really interesting mix as well. I assume they want them for them, so they're going to let them be them on TV.
Yeah. The marketing of them too.
Putting those two in a Vince's WWE, for example, is going to be a much different world than putting those two in Triple H's WWE. Because they'll actually probably allow them to be them. If you took Ray Phoenix and then didn't allow him to do Ray Phoenix things and toned him down to a WWE style like Vince probably would have done, that's just taken away what's special about Ray Phoenix, and exactly the same with Penta.
Every week. Yeah, it's going to be huge, isn't it?
And then they've been desperate for the next Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
And maybe that's them going, if we just get loads of Lucha stars, one of them's bound to be here.
One Lucha star will eventually stick to replace probably the greatest that there's ever been. That'll work out. But either way, it does seem like there's a lot of exciting potential of Lucha Brothers in WWE if Triple H doesn't slot them straight in the LWO. Let us know what you think about them in the comments.
Which is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, let us know what you think about them in the comments below. And we might discuss this.
And pick some matches as well.
Oh yeah. Well, we might discuss that and do a bit of fantasy booking in a very special edition of Wrestle Culture tomorrow.
Hey.
That we'll tell you about if you're not already aware. It's going to be dual streamed on this channel that you're watching now, as well as
hopefully if I can get the software to work.
Yeah, this one, all the What Culture Wrestling podcast channel, or at least one of them anyway. We'll get the links out there, obviously. Special because unlike the usual chat where we all kind of all get together and it's all live chat and you can donate your super chats and get involved and all that, all donations are going to be going straight to Marcel Laviolette, a friend and fan of the channel, whose childhood home was destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. He's got a GoFundMe that we've also shared in our social, and he's linked as well online. But the donations up to $300 are going to be matched by
£300.
£300, excuse me.
We will match.
Don't even know if that's more or less anymore. This goddamn country.
It's more.
Hopefully, still a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more.
Yeah,
it's definitely more.
We're going to match that anyway, and then all donations within the extended, super-sized Wrestle Culture that we're calling Marcel Culture will go to his GoFundMe as well. So join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be all the talking points of the week, all the excitement around Roman Reigns' return to SmackDown. One of Phil's quizzes, so I would say it's bloody good, but let's be honest, it's going to be bloody great. We're really looking forward to that, and as many of you as possible, even if you can't make it for the whole thing, starting 2 p.m. UK time if you want to drop in.
9 a.m. Eastern.
There you go.
Is when it starts, and we'll probably be going for about 3 hours, so 9 till 12 Eastern-ish.
As long as we can, and donations will be open the whole time to go straight to Marcel.
Yep, absolutely.
Can't wait for that one. And look, if you've got any spare change, we'd obviously welcome that for Marcel's cause. And ask this one time that you don't give it to Taco Bell, because their $7 Lux deal looks pretty amazing. How do I know?
Where the hell are you going with this?
How do I know that? It's because I looked on with envy of all of our American friends while trying to watch the Jack Perry promo last night and Dynamite.
There we go.
Before it was interrupted by the entire beautiful HD advert for that product. Really, really strange, but quite funny gaff on Dynamite last night. These things happen. It was on the TBS feed, I believe. I'm not sure if it was all across America. I know they had different West and East Coast feeds and blah, blah, blah. Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful shared this, and it went out, obviously, in enough homes that a lot of people, one of the first things that I saw, like when after I'd watched Dynamite to go and get the takes that people were talking about on X, Jack Perry had a pretty slickly produced video where he's watching back footage on a bunch of monitors.
I think that makes it funnier that it was like a proper produced video and not just like a backstage promo or something.
You can find the full version in various places, but the full promo was just him watching like grisly shots of blood and guts and what's happened between him and Darby on a bunch of monitors. That then just stops dead. Full Taco Bell advert, comes back to find him kicking the last TV in, and then we kind of go to a Darby Allin promo where he claps back, but in this case he's only clapped back to what looks like a very appealing meal deal. It's a great promo worth going and checking out, and obviously Jack Perry versus Darby Allin is going to be insane at Wembley Stadium. I can't wait.
They're going to do some dumb stuff.
Yeah, I do feel like next week on Dynamite there is the opportunity here. It's a bit like the remember the Nick Gage pizza slice overlapping with the Domino's thing. I think they just have the elite. Strap Darby Allin to the same machine that Homer Simpson was strapped to when he just kept getting fed donuts, and just keep feeding him with burritos and tacos and things like that. Trying to make Darby Allin sick ahead of Wembley. I'm getting
tacos on their shoes and do the super kicks, like when they put the thumbtacks on the bottom, but with tacos.
Will Bonds on my god. Turn the negative into a positive here and just turn it into a marketing opportunity. Ring the Taco Bell.
Ring the Taco Bell. That match is going to be dumb at All In. Do you think there's going to be some real glass?
I think we're going to be crying everybody. Cannot wait for that one. Yeah, check it out if you can. It's all over Reddit, and like I say, various accounts have retweeted this one. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's always funny when these things happen.
Yeah, and like I say, I cannot stress how impressive looking the Perry vignette is. Only to just be stopped cold and dead by this HD Taco Bell advert. Check it out where you can find it.
Well, you win some, you lose some. But Kota Ibushi in AEW. We've got a bit of an update on what his status is now. Pure Wrestle Flow on Twitter tweeted out saying Kota Ibushi in his bio said going forward he will be wrestling for DDT on a regular basis. The Golden Star is truly home. So everyone thought, oh, maybe he's done with AEW or something like that. And one fan replied saying, so he's done with AEW ? And Kota Ibushi replied to that fan saying, no, my home is AEW. We'll see a full comeback with Kenny.
Ooh.
Oh baby! So it looks like he's let slip some plans as to what they were going to be doing, but at least he's mentioned he will be back in AEW, likely whenever Kenny Omega's back, and for the meantime he's just going to go do some dumb stuff in DDT, as is his want.
Very, very Kota Ibushi story, this, isn't it?
Yep.
DDT, obviously, they're home to Kota Ibushi for so long, and the destination for so much of the wild stuff he enjoys about pro wrestling.
Yeah. But any of the really stupid clips you see of Kota Ibushi is likely from DDT.
That one where he's fighting through that house, and my God, does he pass some
fireworks
sights
on the car where he just basically blows himself up with a firework.
It's kind of is AEW. It's strange, isn't it? Is AEW run mixed reviews, I guess. Some not so great nights in the likes of Blood and Guts and at Wembley, and some pretty incredible ones in the Sega fight that they had. Enter the Dragon Gate, whatever it was. It was amazing that. So it was hard to read in 2023 what kind of Kota Ibushi there was still left to offer to North American TV wrestling. But I guess he's answered that to a point by saying, well, it's a one that includes Kenny Omega. Them two obviously will speak regularly about Kenny's potential return, about Ibushi's well-being in general.
Yeah.
And one can assume off this that we can expect, if not an actual feud between the two yet again, surely something Golden Lovers based.
Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks in this kind of EVP war.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely going to have to do that.
Kenny Omega and Hangman Page has already been teased as a possible match against the Young Bucks down the line, but why would you not do the Golden Lovers as well? They're always going to be involved in each other's stuff, aren't they? And that's probably why Ibushi was quick to be as definitive as he was about the AEW statement.
Yeah, probably. This is happening and it will happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, mixed bag for him, but it's he's never been one that's sort of needed to prove anything.
Unconventional, isn't he?
He definitely flies his own path.
Yeah.
Especially within the sort of Japanese system where it's he kind of shunned New Japan a little bit for DDT, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, it was acrimonious, wasn't it? That exit from New Japan,
but then he also doesn't care. He just wants to do his own thing and have a really fun life. So which I kind of respect.
You kind of have to love that, don't you? Yeah.
You really gotta love that. I'm super excited to see what he still has to offer for AEW. And in the meantime, like I say, we'll get to see him doing some dumb stuff in DDT, which is always fun.
I look forward to seeing it. And you know what, Phil? I enjoy watching dumb stuff in general.
Me too.
And if you're watching this dumb stuff right now, you might be encouraged to click some of the other What Culture Wrestling videos.
Like you could go on a journey of dumb stuff.
No way. You could
YouTube
start
journey.
it right here. See you soon.